by this time, I'm sure you guys know that the theme for today's Youth Sabbath is the purpose in life. And I'm sure from just watching the video that you guys were able to resonate with at least one person in that video. Maybe some of you are unsure about your purpose in life. Maybe some of you haven't thought about it too much. Maybe some of you have and you are quite clear on it. So what I hope to do is help you guys try and recognize your purpose or reaffirm what it is today. So when I was preparing this, I thought I need to do some really detailed research to find out what our purpose in life is. So I looked into what I thought was the most wise source, and the button is not working. There we go. I Googled it, and so this is what Google came up with. A few options there. So it was quite similar to what the video mentioned. A few different ones there as well. But I thought maybe it'd be different if I searched our purpose in life. So I did that as well, and this is what I came up with. There we go. Again, very similar. Some that might have been familiar to us, but it's nice to see that even Google has variety. So yeah, that was my detailed research. And I just brought up a few options here. So I thought these stood out from both options, and they all seem very plausible, right? They're all very interesting, and some more so than others. I mean, I can have a purpose in life to be a mum. But yeah, so basically today what I want to do is try and find how close Google is to the truth. So have you guys heard of Mark Twain? Yeah? And maybe more of you guys are familiar with what he has said. So the two most important days in your life are the day you're born and the day you find out why. Now, this was said in the 1800s. Now, I want to explore why this has such a resounding impact even in today's life. So let's just break this down quickly. What is it saying? The two most important days in your life. So there's 2 days, the day you're born and the day you find out why. I think the first one is quite obvious why it's important. If you think about it, the day you're born is the first time you breathe life. It's the first opportunity you get to even think about having a purpose. It's the first time you open your eyes and you realize, you're in this world. And the day you find out why, that's the one talking about purpose. And the reason why I think it's important is because that'll be your strongest motivator in whatever you do, knowing the reason you're created. So that's what I want to explore today. And I want to focus on the second day, the day and the purpose of our life individually and our purpose as a community united in Christ. So yeah, as we talked about, purpose, goal, life journey, all 3 words you can use to describe why we are in this world, or why we have been created. So I want to start simple. Let's start from the Bible. And right in the beginning, Genesis 1:27. So you guys are welcome to use your Bibles as well, but the verse will be up here too. So let's just quickly read that. So God created mankind in his own image. In the image of God, he created them. Male and female, he created them. So what does it say? This is talking about the most amazing creature in the universe, the most amazing entity in this world. And we're created in his image, his likeness. We were used, as in he was used as a reflection to create us. Why is that so? Let's keep looking. Numbers 14:21. But truly as I live, all the earth shall be filled with the glory of the Lord. All the earth shall be filled with the glory of the Lord. Yeah. I just want to keep, hold that thought in the back of your mind as we continue. Isaiah 43:7. Now this is what kind of ties everything together. Everyone who is called by my name, who I have created for my glory, I have formed him, yes, I have made him. So, whom I have created for my glory. So not only does this verse give us the authority of God over our creation, but it also gives us a clear purpose. We have been created for his glory. Now, it might be a bit odd, you might picture, how are we made for someone else's glory? Now, just have a think about this. Why do people put up images? An image is meant to reflect, right? For example, if you put up an image of Abraham Lincoln or a statue of Abraham Lincoln, it reminds you of him. If you put up a statue or an image of Jackie Chan, it reminds you of him. So, being made in God's image, we're clearly made to reflect. He's the reality and we are the images. We are set forth to realize this reality. Images are made to image. So our purpose in life is to glorify God. That's what seems to be so far. And I really like this quote that I found. Why did God create man? To show God. He created little images so that they would talk and act and feel in a way that reveals the way God is. So people will look at the way you behave, look at the way you think, the way you feel, and say, God must be great. God must be real. That is why you exist. I think it's a really powerful quote because it ties everything together. You, even just reading this, it has instilled you so much worth. Everything you do is a reflection of who God is. So that's what I want to explore today. So we've broken it down a bit. We've broken it down to glorifying God. But what does that really mean though? I found these two words that I feel encompass what it means to glorify God. And in particular, I want to look at the word magnify today. I feel that understanding that word helps you understand what it truly means to glorify God. So magnify. There's two ways to magnify something. You can magnify in the sense of a microscope, or you can magnify in the sense of a telescope. Now what's the difference? So in the microscope, you're making something small appear bigger than it is. In a telescope, you're making something big, something amazing, something great appear more comprehensible. And this is what it means to glorify God, right? We are making something who is so much greater than us, who has so much more authority than us, who has so much more power, wisdom, knowledge. And we are, through the way we live our lives, we're showing that this is who God is to other people. So this is our understanding of so far. Let's just keep track so we don't lose focus. So glorify God, and this is what we said they mean. And essentially what we are called to do is be a telescope of God's character. So try and run that idea of a telescope in your mind. So let's keep going. How do we praise? How do we worship? How do we magnify? I think these are really key important questions because sometimes even knowing the purpose, it's hard to know what step do I take next. And so that's what we'll look at. Simply put, I think it starts in our hearts and our minds. I think that's where we need to surrender to God first. Because the way I see it, and I'm pretty sure this will make sense, it's basically the engine and the controls of our body. Your heart pumps blood to every single organ in your body and keeps your body running. It's your engine. And your mind is what controls your thoughts, your actions, and it processes what you are going to do. It's your controls. And everything we do, everything we understand comes from them. And they influence our action, attitude, and character. So essentially conduct, they influence our conduct, the manner in which we live our lives. So to prove that's true, I want to look at, focus your attention onto this. So watch your thoughts, for they become words. Watch your words, for they become actions. Watch your actions, for they become habits. Watch your habits, for they become character. Watch your character, for it becomes your destiny. I feel that's a really powerful progression of where you start and where you end up. Even the smallest things that you do, even your thoughts, play a big part in who you end up becoming and how you live your life. And I know hearts isn't directly involved in that, but how we feel plays a huge part in what we think and what we do. So these are the things that talked about. So these are all areas we can glorify God in. We can have fruitful thoughts, we can have graceful words, we can have selfless actions, we can have kind habits, godly character, and divine destiny. So let me give you a simple example. The manner in which we live our lives, in which we conduct ourselves with our peers, parents, friends, and strangers, influences their understanding of God. Because that's what we do. We are created to do. We are meant to be an image of His character. We're meant to magnify. We're meant to be a telescope. And that is a way of glorifying God. So now 2 weeks ago in Quay Group, we were looking at the I Am series. And the I Am series is what we've been running as a study for Quay Group. And it was a topic on why did Jesus have to die. So we were watching this video, and we were enlightened by this experience of a grandmother who was sheltering and fostering a young boy's relationship in God. And when we were discussing about this after, one of the attendees mentioned that, how it's amazing that we can be the Jesus to someone else. We can be the Bible to someone else. And I just thought that's really, really powerful. You and I have the choice to live our lives in a way that we can be the Jesus to someone else. We can be the Bible to someone else, inspiring them to know and feel loved by God, guiding them to the source, connecting them to the vine, how clear, how amazing is that purpose? You know, that progression of God to us and to other people. I really, really like that. So, importance of conduct. And the Bible even emphasizes this importance. So let's have a quick look as well. So in 1 Peter 1:13-16, therefore, with minds that are alert and fully sober, set your hope on the grace to be brought to you when Jesus Christ is revealed that is coming. As obedient children, do not conform to the evil desires you had when you lived in ignorance, but just as he who called you to be holy, so be holy in all you do. For it is written, be holy, for I am holy. Now, that last part is what ties everything together, because it says, be holy, for I am holy. So, thinking about what we looked at so far, glorify, we're meant to be image, you know? We are being an image, we're reflecting his character. This is his character, and that's why we're called to do the same. And I want to focus on something that we can do. So what has God given us? What tools, what equipment has he given us to carry out our conduct in a way that we can glorify him? And each of us have some talents, something that we're good at, something that we enjoy doing. And it may be that you have any one of these. Observing, you're wise, you're good at social media. And the main point is, everyone has something that we're good at, and something that God has given us, equipped us with to do his work, to glorify God in our work life, in our personal life, and in our spiritual or church lives. We need to sit down, work out with God through guidance what it is that he has given us. You know, and we can do that through prayer. Prayer is the most important tool. It's a conversation that we have with God that helps us understand more clarity. It gives us more clarity into what our purpose is. So even after knowing our purpose is to glorify God, it's us who needs to take that first step, you know, of surrendering our hearts and our minds, seeking him through prayer, trying to understand which step he wants us to take. So that's really important. And something I want to note here is, even though we can sometimes feel like we have this immense purpose in our lives, we still, sometimes miss out on the opportunity to utilize the resources we've been given. We've been blessed to share with God's word, spread his love, and be Jesus to other people. You know, it's a really sad thing to miss out on this purpose, as this will be the most fulfilling thing in your life, the most satisfying thing that you will accomplish. It's like a warning, but it's like also something to guide you guys, to make sure that you guys don't waste your talents, or you guys don't miss out on the opportunity, basically, to live out your purpose. And this kind of affirms what that verse is saying. So it's a fearful thing to fold the talent entrusted to you, us in a napkin, and hide it away in the world. For this is casting away the crown of life. God claims our service. There are responsibilities for everyone to bear, and we can fulfill life's transmission only when these responsibilities are fully accepted and faithfully and consciously discharged. So let's not miss out on this purpose in fulfilling life's grand mission. Now let's just do a quick recap. Hopefully giving you something to ponder about, hopefully help realize our purpose, maybe reaffirm our purpose, or encourage us to align our lives in a way that can fulfill God's calling. So 2 important days. So the day we were born and the day we find out why. So as we looked at before, we recognized it was to glorify God. And what that meant was praising, worshipping, and magnifying. And when we looked at magnifying a bit more, we understood what it means to glorify God. You know, be a telescope, reflect his character. And where does it start? It starts in our hearts and our minds, because that's the engine that controls our body. And what does that influence? The way we live our lives, the conduct. And what has God given us to help us live our lives in a way that glorifies him? Talents, skills, and abilities. So utilize those opportunities you get in life, and don't miss out on this. But something I want to add as well is that even after you realize your purpose, sometimes it's so easy to run away from it, or not realize it, or not recognize it. And what we have to realize is that what he has for our lives is the best thing for our lives. There's nothing greater that we can even imagine, or we can even dream of. And when you realize that, your life just gets in line, your life gets in focus, and you almost have this burning fire inside of you, knowing that this is the direction you should take. So don't miss out on the opportunity. Fulfill life's grand mission. What does it mean to me to glorify God? To me, I think what it means to glorify God is living my life in a way that reflects his calling. 4 years ago, if you asked me, what do I want to do after school? What do I want to be? I would have given you an answer like, I can do this maybe, I can do that maybe, I don't want to do that. That's what I would have basically said. And I was genuinely lost. And so I was praying about this. And towards the second quarter of 2015, I remember watching this sermon online on purpose. And I was really tired, so I wasn't really paying attention, which was sad. I should have listened to the rest of it. But something that stood out was that I remember him saying, if you suddenly find a thought in your mind about something that you've been praying about, it may be from God. Now that may seem kind of obvious now, but it wasn't at the time. So I prayed about this thought, and the thought grew a little stronger. And at the time, the thought was, maybe medicine is something that I'd like to do. I knew I loved the satisfaction of helping people, and I knew I loved learning practical knowledge. So, but was this enough to pursue medicine? That was the question I was facing at the time, and I was about to find out. And sorry for the people who've heard this like a million times already, I will make this short. So I banked on that thought and decided to pursue medicine. So first attempt didn't do too well in 2015. I failed my one of my exams. So I still banked on that thought. Took a gap year, did the exam again, failed again, as in didn't do too well. And then I still banked on that thought, and then decided to go into biomed in hope of getting into medicine eventually. And that's where I got introduced to ASOC, care group, and campus ministry. And it was during this year that I did the exam again. And I didn't do that well, but it was okay result. But it just felt like it wasn't enough. And I remember talking to a sailor who was a care group leader there, and I was just saying to him, maybe this thought is something that I misinterpreted. Maybe this thought wasn't actually from God. And what he said to me after that just kind of pumped me in the head. He mentioned that, maybe it's just that God wants you to trust him with this thought. And that just hit me hard. And it just made me reflect. And as I was thinking back, I recognized that every time I failed, I developed a greater passion of why I wanted to do medicine. Every time I failed, I got closer and closer to God. And after that, my prayer was not to help me get into medicine. It was to help me to, wherever he leads me, I knew that I'll be happy, because now I know that motivation that I can seek for myself. I can have that strength, that courage to seek God for myself. No matter what happens, I know that this is something that will bring me happiness. This is something that will satisfy my life, because this is my purpose. This is what we're created to do, to glorify God. And so this is what it means to me. No matter what situation you're going in, whether you're in a high or a low, trusting in him throughout the whole point, and giving your best of your ability in whatever God gives you, knowing that he works for the good in everyone, good for everyone who believes in him. All he asks for is your best effort to carry out his work. Let's give that to him today. And with that, I'd like to close with these two verses that basically sum up everything we've talked about. So First Corinthians 10:31. So whether you eat or drink or whatever you do it all for the glory of God. So do it all for the glory of God. And the next one is our memory verse. Whatever you do, work at it with all your heart, as working for the Lord, not for human masters. This is a good summary, I feel. I wanted to end with that because, let's live every aspect of our lives fully to the glory of God and fulfill life's grand mission and achieve our purpose. Even after the purpose seems so clear, so evident from the Bible, don't seek for yourselves, because sometimes you can feel that your life will be draining, always just all our focus has to be on doing this, doing that, doing this, but it's not like that really at all. What we have to realize is when we put our attention, when we surrender our hearts and our minds to God, his plan for our lives is the best, and that will keep us satisfied, and there's no other happiness that you can find in anywhere in the world. And that will power your life. It won't be draining for you, it'll be the greatest thing and the most happiest thing that you'll ever do in your life. So don't be afraid of living out the life He has called you to live. Don't be afraid of using the talents and the abilities that He has given you to His glory. So yeah, let's be a telescope of God's character, and let's share with other people this mission, this goal that we have set upon, and the courage, the vision that He has instilled in us. So let's do that today. Let's give our best to God. Thank you.